Let's say you are coming to Estonia from Pakistan. Here are the steps that you need to take in order to reach from Pakistan to Estonia. Before we begin, there are two things that we really need to consider. First is Pakistan is ranked number 4th from the bottom on its passport, which means there are very few places that you can visit visa-free. Second thing that you really need to consider, the median income for a year for a household in Pakistan is $1,240. For the US, the median income $64,140. Just means to say Pakistan is not a very rich country. So here are the steps that you need to undertake if you want to come Pakistan to Estonia. Step number 1, you need to apply for an Estonian visa, and in order to apply for Estonian visa, you have to get an appointment at an Estonian embassy. Unfortunately, there is no Estonian embassy in Pakistan as compared to India, which has its own embassy. In order for you to apply from Pakistan, you have to travel to another country where there is an Estonian embassy. Now you have a number of different options. You can either travel to UAE, you can travel to Egypt, or you can travel to Turkey. Let's say you decide to go to Turkey, you open the Estonian embassy's website and you try to find an appointment. Let's say you're lucky and you're able to secure an appointment, which brings us to step number 2. Prepare all the documentation for your Estonian visa interview. Now, if you are coming to Estonia, there are a number of different options why you're coming here. First, either you get a job. Second, you're coming here for studies. Third, you're coming here to meet your spouse. For all of these different things, just certificates and documents are not enough. You have to get them attested and certified and notarized from the respective embassies. Let's say you're coming here for studies. All of your documents need to be attested, documented, and notarized from the Higher Education Commission in Pakistan, which means that you have to send your documents to the ministry. It costs money, it costs time, and then you have to get them prepared. So step number 2 is done. You have all the documents prepared, which brings us to step number 3. Now you have to apply for the Turkish visa. And even though it might seem simple, it really isn't. You go through the website and you find that there are a number of different things that you have to provide them, which brings us to step number 4, preparation of documentation for the Turkish visa. There are 10 compulsory documents, which include your income statement to show that you are able to bear the expenses of living in Turkey for some time. You have to show your assets here, which means that you will come back to Pakistan after your visit. If you are a government employee, if you are a freelancer, if you are a businessman, then the requirements are more difficult. You have to get more documentation to prove that you are indeed who you say who you are. This doesn't matter, no matter how law-abiding citizen you have been, all your history, doesn't matter, no nothing. You have to prepare all the documentation as if you're a criminal who is looking to go abroad. So let's say you prepare all the documentation and you applied for the Turkish visa, and fortunately now you have the Turkish visa. Understand that you have a limited number of days, 15 days, let's say, in which you have to go to Turkey. You have to give the interview, they will take your passport, and if you're lucky, you will get your passport back. This brings us number 5, which is getting the tickets to Turkey. Might seem easy, but it becomes a little bit more complicated because you have to get a return ticket. Even though your plan is that if you get the visa, you will go from Turkey to Estonia, but Pakistan does not allow for you to travel on a visit visa to Turkey unless you have a return ticket. This means you need to spend more money to come to Turkey because you will get a return ticket. Step number 6, get accommodation in Turkey, especially in Ankara, for the time that you will be waiting there. And the worst part is you don't know how much time it will take for you to get the visa, because you heard many different stories from different people. It can take 5 days, it can take 3 days, it can take 10 days, it can take 14 days, or maybe even 30 days. You cross your fingers because you only have the Turkish visa for 15 days. And besides, since you are from a middle class, that's the only time that you can afford to live abroad in a hotel or in an Airbnb for this time. Don't forget how much is the median income for Pakistan. And this brings us to step number 7. You are finally here in Turkey, you are finally in Ankara. Next day you have your interview. If everything goes okay, they take your passport, then they say, okay, we will let you know when you can get the visa, or if you can get the visa. Step number 8, you wait. And as I said before, you don't know how much time it will take. It can take anywhere between 3 days, 5 days, a week, 2 weeks, even 30 days, which is the maximum number of time that the Estonian embassy has mentioned for you to get your D visa. So you're spending all this time in anxiety, spending more money each and every day in order to pay for the accommodation, for the fees of the visa, which is not cheap at all, which is 100 euros. If you are lucky, you are able to get the visa within the 15 days time frame. Absolutely great. But if you are not able to get the visa, then you cannot extend your Turkish visa. Still, this means that you have to go back to Pakistan and you have to start the whole process again of applying to an Estonian embassy. But let's say you're lucky and you get the visa. Now you have to book tickets from Turkey to Estonia. This costs more money because if you get the visa, for example, in like 10 days and you have to get a ticket to Estonia in the next 5 days, this means that the ticket will be a lot more expensive than, for example, if you bought it maybe 15 days ago or a month ago. So finally you get the ticket and you fly to Estonia and you are here. If you are an American citizen, here are the steps that you need to take for you to come to Estonia. Step number 1, book your ticket to Estonia. Step number 2, fly to Estonia, because having an American passport means that you are able to travel to Europe anytime you want. You can come here, apply for a long-term visa or a resident permit without any need for anything else. So here's the moral of all the story that I want to say. Why is it that a country with almost 60 times less income than America, any person from that country has to spend more money, more time, and more effort to reach a country just because you have a passport, just because you were born in a place? If I was born in the US, if I had the same credentials, same everything, just the passport was different, that would be a completely different story. Current system of passport and ranking and freedom of movement, it's completely bullshit. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense, because if you are born in a third world country, you are pretty much doomed, because in order to break the cycle, in order to go outside, you have to spend more money than you can afford if you are from an average middle class, and that is messed up. It's pretty fucked up. And the reason why I wanted to do this video is to tell everybody how messed up it really is. Thank you for watching. I have a few ideas on how we can solve this issue. If you want to hear them, then I would like for you to subscribe and join the channel so I know that we are not alone. Take care. Bye bye.